Zelda Breath of the Wild will not be a Nintendo Switch launch game, but Mario instead. This is the Raptor News reactions on the latest gaming news, brought to you by Emily Rogers over on her blog Arcade Girl 64, where she writes, and of course everything that you see here, everything that I say is not confirmed by Nintendo. They will announce games on January 12th or 13th, depending on the region you're in. Anyway, everything is a rumor, but she's been proven like right many times. She talked about the when the reveal trailer was going to air. She talked about the device, what it was going to be. She talked about the 720p screen. She talked about Splatoon. She talked about a ton of stuff that were in the trailer that have proven to be right. So we have a reason to believe this. Anyway, let's jump into the news. In early September, I heard rumblings that the localization for the game was becoming more work than anyone anticipated. They have to localize all the game stacks, NPC quests. Of course, it's Japanese game. To localize that to a ton of different countries, English of course, but also a lot of other countries that require their own language in order to sell really well. It can take a lot of time. You can imagine that with Zelda being a more RPG, more open world RPG. It's a very ambitious game, maybe even too much. That's what one source said to Emily Rogers. Anyway, what's interesting is that the localizations will be completed until the end of December according to this rumor, which means that they need another 4 to 6 months of testing before the game can be out. So that would mean a June release, a May release maybe. So not March when the Nintendo Switch is going to launch. But based on what I've heard, it's going to be a summer 2017 game. Would still make a lot of sense. Have a good launch lineup and then later release Zelda, one of your most anticipated games, and according to this rumor, the biggest game Nintendo ever made. So that's pretty cool. On an unrelated note, I also heard whispers of the Switch version of Breath of the Wild running more smoothly than the Wii U version. Of course, the Switch is going to be way more powerful than the Nintendo Wii U, so we hope that it will run better. I played it on Wii U, was just fine. So to have it even run better, take it with me on the go, a plus. I will totally play it on the Switch. But this also means that the Wii U will see a game in summer 2017 when the production has already ended. Super interesting. Also, I heard that they toned down the E3 demo, so I played the E3 demo a tiny bit because they wanted journalists and press members to have fun exploring. And this is what you see a lot at E3 or at different conventions, that the difficulty is always lower because sometimes press go in, okay, they played a lot of games, but also like the marketing manager or the guy that works at Amazon wants to try the game, and if he dies all the time, that sucks, gets a bad experience, he doesn't want the game. So you have to have an open mind. You have to have that you can explore the game, because that's really new in this Zelda game, that there is like a ton of stuff going on in this open world. So that's super interesting. Then we can trust Emily Rogers, I believe that, but there's more interesting stuff going on, because over on Eurogamer, and again, they have trusted sources. They also reported on the Switch being a handheld with a console and detachable control, so we can see that this is also true. If they report that this is the same as what they've heard. Eurogamer had separately been told the same schedule as Nintendo is committed to launching the game in as close to a perfect state as possible after so long development. After so long in development, this game has been announced for in 2014, was it? And then 2015 was like the launch date. Then they skipped E3, so everyone was like, what? Then this year at E3 they were like, yeah, it's coming out, and then they delayed it to 2017 to of course have it ready for the Switch as well. Because if you release this game first on Wii U, everyone already played it. Released later on the Switch is not a new game anymore. So makes sense that they hold it off, and now we have to wait even longer probably. But this is really interesting, and this is where the Mario thing is coming from. Of course, in the trailer we also saw a Mario game, a new 3D Mario game. Probably a Mario game that was supposed to hit the Wii U, but then was delayed, or just moved to the Switch. Because if you bring this like high caliber Mario game on the Wii U with just 10 million units sold doesn't really make a lot of sense. It would probably still have sold like a lot of copies, but to have it as a Switch launch game and to only be playable on the Switch, that's a good one. Anyway, what they say is that what big first title will now spearhead the Switch launch. They of course need a big title to sell you the console. I mean, they can have Splatoon, they can have Mario Kart, but you already played those games probably on the Wii U, and those are not new games, so that would be weird to have a console launch without any new games. So they probably have this new Mario game will be ready in time to fill this role. And this is super interesting because other sources already told us as well. We have Laura K. Dale, and she reported on the Switch price. I have a video about that coming up very soon. Other things that are going on with the Switch and the launch date, she even reported that. So this is awesome, this is interesting. What she also noted is Emily Roger. That's all for now, but keep your eyes peeled for my next blog post. I will be discussing other Switch games later this week. Yes please, probably some Splatoon news, and she talked about that being a sort of better version, so just Splatoon with all the DLC. They had a ton of DLC maps, weapons, all free, stuff like that. Put it in one package with some new maps. We also saw some different hairstyles that we didn't see in Splatoon in the Switch trailer, so will be super interesting to watch. I will have a video up on that new news from Emily Rogers, so be sure to subscribe. Like this video if you did. Let me know what you think about the Nintendo Switch in the comments down below. I will speak to you next time.